The previous meeting was the European Cup final of 1981, when Liverpool won 1-0 in Paris, and they set off here in what should be a very fascinating fixture. Glenn Hussein in the centre of the defence, and it looks as though he'll be alongside Gary Ablett, with Barry Venison at right back and Jan Molby in midfield. Whelan. John Barnes, as you'd expect, got a lot of attention from the local media when the team arrived yesterday. They trained on the pitch last night and trained again this morning. Just an indication of how seriously Liverpool are taking this game. But it's very, very important to Real Madrid. We can't really stress that too highly. And Steve McMahon trying to capitalise on some uncertainty at the back here, and McMahon letting fly.
And in fact, I've won a free kick, Martin. Steve McMahon is always wanting to push forward from midfield. And it was a two-footed tackle. In fact, I think it was a handball just on the edge of the box.
The culprit was Hierro, one of two new central defenders brought here by the Toshak regime. Hierro, who's just on the fringes of the Spanish squad, was signed from Valladolid. This is Buyo, the goalkeeper. He's been around a long time. Now, what can Liverpool come up with here to perhaps give this match the most dramatic of starts? Barnes debating with Molby. It's left for Barnes. Buyo started to move to his right and then held a position in the centre of the goal, and was grateful to see the ball plop into his arms. John Barnes has been in exceptional form at the start of the season, and of course we should remember that Liverpool have 3 league games behind them, and John Toshak reckons are a couple of weeks ahead of Real Madrid in terms of fitness and sharpness. Hierro. Sanchez playing at right back for Real Madrid, which isn't his natural position. This is Ruggieri, a hard man from Argentina. Whelan, who's taken on the captaincy again, with Hansen restricted to a substitute's role tonight. I think they just feel that Alan Hansen has to be nursed in his later stages, shall we say, of his career after the knee problems he's had. This might have been one unnecessary game for him. Whelan played well. Butragueño got back on Burrows, but has stayed down, rather damaged in that tackle. Rush. McMahon, the real stoker of the boilers in Liverpool's midfield. He and Whelan do so much work that perhaps doesn't get full attention there.
Well, I think they're appreciated, obviously, by the fans in England, and certainly by the Liverpool teammates for the amount of work they do. But I'm sure that Real don't come across a team like Liverpool every week who retain possession as much.
Michel and Butragueño's offside. So Butragueño is now a very wealthy young man, at the age of 26. He's studying at Madrid University still. He's studying economics, which is perhaps appropriate because he's got his own personal economic plan to work out now with this new deal, only just signed a matter of days ago. It certainly puts him in the category of footballing millionaire. Burrows. There's Rush as the solo front man, but Nicol trying to get up in support from midfield. Real Madrid champions of Spain for the last 4 seasons, but they've disappointed in the competition they value so highly, the European Cup. Remember, they haven't won it since 1966. They've been beaten semi-finalists the last 3 seasons, and they were humiliated by Milan. 5-0 in Italy in the second leg of the semi-final back in April. That took a lot of living down here. This is Hugo Sanchez. goal scorer extraordinaire. Well, Liverpool would do well not to give Michel that amount of time to set his sights for a shot, even from that range. Just a little slow to push out on the Spanish international midfielder. It flew over Grobbelaar's crossbar. Hussein. Schuster is there with the header. Down to Hierro. All the warm-up fixtures prior to this one for Real Madrid have been played away from here. They've had some fairly tough opposition, including Steaua Bucharest, who beat them 2-1. Cordillo. Michel. Liverpool players back. Sanchez against John Barnes. And past him with the aid of a stump ball. And it ran away for the goal kick. Although the home supporters and Sanchez weren't too keen on the decision. The fact that it was given by a Basque referee. Don't you worry, there won't be too much of a homer feel about it, I don't think. Indeed, John Toshak himself has to win over the fans here, coming from a Basque club, Real Sociedad, club that might be the new home for John Aldridge. That was a nice touch by Martin Vasquez to Ruggieri. Liverpool looking very composed and have settled quickly in.
Yeah, so Liverpool always settle into their passing routines very early, and as I was saying earlier, for Real Madrid it must be quite exceptional playing in their own stadium and you know, really having to fight to try and get a kick at the ball, because once Liverpool have got it, you know, they keep a hold of it, they knock it around, and they move the players around easily, and you know, they're giving the Madrid players quite a problem.
Now Martin Vasquez responded by pressing Burrows. Well, though he touched the ball, he just touched it away to Ablett, and whether the home supporters are whistling at Liverpool or at their own players for not offering too much concerted attacking play so far, they're not particularly patient here. We've only had 10 minutes. If you've just joined us, it's Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0 for the Bernabeu International Trophy here in the Bernabeu Stadium. Whelan. Venison.
Real haven't quite sussed out yet what to do with their 5 and 6, Hierro and Ruggieri, because Schuster there is normally the sweeper. They have one-man marking the in rush, but they've got a spare player, you know, and he's not getting into the game.
And that concern reflecting in Real Madrid giving the ball away there, and Venison whipping in a low cross. Here's Martin Vasquez. Butragueño. Chendo, who's the captain, with Gallego, who was the captain, moving to Udinese in Italy a couple of weeks ago. It's a fine ball by Hugo Sanchez. Butragueño. A lot of Liverpool players around him. Hierro. And plus marks for Liverpool again, restricting the shot to such a long distance.
I would think to be happy if Senor Hierro shoots from there all evening, because I don't think Brucey would be too bothered.
We understand that 3 outfield players can be substituted and the goalkeepers, but Liverpool have only brought Bruce. Mike Hooper hasn't come, the second goalkeeper. And Bruce Grobbelaar was joking that Peter Beardsley would love to have a running goal, as he once had to do in a First Division game, I recall, for Newcastle, when he was on the wrong end of a very heavy defeat at West Ham. Here's Ben Hussein, and Liverpool looking very much at home in the Bernabeu Stadium. Whelan. Burrows. Liverpool with the 3 league games, the win against Manchester City and the draw at Aston Villa and at Luton. They've been denied these European occasions, of course, by the UEFA ban. It's a chance for them to put on a display which will give the club high profile around Europe, and maybe some sympathy when the ban is lifted, of course, for other clubs first. Liverpool still are penalised on top of that, but for how long remains to be seen. Martin Vasquez. Hussein, not a good clearance. Better one by Ablett, a measured one to McMahon. Mulvey is there, but there's only Ian Rush forward. This is Sanchez. Hugo Sanchez coming for the ball roll to feet. Goes back to Martin Vasquez. Futugueño. Michel. Outside the area again. Dragged wide with the left foot. Michel, who has such an enviable reputation outside Spain, isn't too popular with his own supporters. Got a bit of a reputation here as a whinger when things aren't going too well, and hasn't performed, Ian, particularly well in the big games. You and I were in Frankfurt in the European Championship where he played poorly for Spain against Italy. That's correct. He's a very talented player, as you say, Martin, but sometimes, you know, the good players always play when the chips are down, and he hasn't done that. You couldn't say the same about the man on the ball, Martin Vasquez, or indeed Hugo Sanchez. Taken the lead after 15 minutes. The Mexican, who's a menace wherever and whenever he plays. Martin Vasquez looped it in, and Grobbelaar felt he had to go for it. He didn't get there. Hugo Sanchez did, and it rolled into an unguarded net. Ian.
Well, really, Bruce should never have come that far out, because, you know, I think Sanchez could only have chested the ball down, and there were red jerseys around him. So, for me, that was a case of Bruce making an error of judgment.
And Hugo Sanchez, his strike rate is formidable. And with Real Madrid looking uneasy, coped with a Liverpool style of play here, strong in numbers and in skill in midfield. They'd hardly got inside that Liverpool penalty area, but now Liverpool are a goal down. And that's Hussein launching himself, and the Swedish defender didn't protest. He was tightly marked. And Ian, you felt that there might have been a shove in there.
Well, possibly. Ruggieri was a man involved there. But going back to the goal, it was a marvellous ball of Martin Vasquez, wasn't it? Beautiful. And he, in fact, has been the best of the Madrid players so far, Martin. He's the one player that's looked as if he's on his game.
He had a reputation. They called him the most talented labourer in midfield in Europe. The labourer referring to the amount of work that he gets through. And because others perhaps get more of the headlines around him, but I think people in the game know his value. Here he is, the number 10 for Real Madrid, and he's given it away that time to Hussein. And now Liverpool might have to rethink a little. They do have John Aldridge as a substitute if they have to look for goals later in the game. but with the transfer talk going on, I wonder whether they'll want to use him.
I think for the sake of the game, it was a good thing that Real scored, because up till then Liverpool have been just sitting pretty and Real not really doing an awful lot. But now Liverpool will have to open up to get an equaliser.
Martin Vasquez, this is Butragueño against Grobbelaar. He's taken a long time. He's shown finishing of true international class. And it's 2-0. Liverpool have conceded 2 goals in 3 minutes. And he used all the time that was available to him. Butragueño didn't panic. He turned back inside Gary Ablett, wrong-footed Grobbelaar, and tucked it away.
Marvellous skill. I thought he may have been marginally offside when the ball was played through, Mark, but marvellous skill, lovely close control. And if Liverpool don't watch it now, you know, they could be on the end of a bit of a hiding here.
And it's early days, of course, 18 minutes gone, but Everton did let in 6 2 years ago.
It just shows the quality of the Real players. 2 chances, 2 goals.
Well, there's one man from Britain in the ground who's very, very pleased that Liverpool being 2-0 down, and that's a certain John Toshak.
I'm sure a relieved John Toshak. Nice to be sitting in a 2-goal lead after 20 minutes.
He's sitting in a dugout where apparently it looks as though you're shaking with nerves, but the metro goes under the ground here, and when a train goes through, literally right underneath the dugout, everybody shakes then. But they might be quaking down on the Liverpool bench. And suddenly, from being in reasonable control, Liverpool, without threatening too much, it must be said, at Buyo's goal, but playing with calm and with confidence, they're being overrun. Emilio Butragueño gives an early justification to the money men of Real Madrid, who have had to dig deep into the considerable coffers here to give him the sort of deal that he asked for. He was able to hold out because Atletico Madrid have been making a lot of overtures to all the Real Madrid players whose contracts are up at the end of this forthcoming season. There's a mischievous president there called Jesus Gil, who's well known to Ron Atkinson. But here's McMahon for Liverpool. Nickel, McMahon. Schuster with an almost arrogant flick away. Sanchez, Michel. Ian, it's 4 years now since our clubs were banned from major European competition. But apart from the disappointment of not being able to witness our teams playing and the financial cost, for the players, what have they lost and what are we seeing here possibly in a gap that's opened up because of that?
Well, I think that the players in England certainly have lost out something, because the competition at this level is first class, and really, if you want to be the best, you have to play against the best, and we are missing out. And I think it is showing, because, I mean, you're talking how many years now, Mark, that we've been out of it?
Yes, 4 years.
4 years.
Schuster, who originally came to Spain to play for Barcelona. His disagreements there with Terry Venables. Liverpool have a corner taken by Barnes. Butragueño. There's an early ball aimed for Hugo Sanchez. Hugo Sanchez with a record of 131 league goals in 5 seasons in Spain. Just in league games, that's a terrific strike rate. Well, Schuster's learning this job. He's been given it by John Toshak. They describe him here as a player who's admired, but not really loved, because of his rather cold-hearted approach to the job. But he can spray the ball around and move forward, of course, into midfield when the time is right. He hasn't really done that as yet.
John actually likened him to Beckenbauer, and there are similarities.
Whelan cutting out the pass that was aimed by Butragueño to Michel. Hussein. The problem for Liverpool now is to find the avenue forward. It's not easy to hit Ian Rush with the first ball from the back. And Real Madrid with the boost of that double blast in terms of goals, organising things in midfield. This is Ruggieri. He's not a man to tangle with, even for the members of the media, as one Spanish journalist found out, to his bruised cost last season. Hugo Sanchez. That was a flick onto Sanchez. Burrow's got in the way.
Real are using the number 2 fullback Sanchez down this right-hand side as a good outlet for them, and John Barnes seems to be, you know, pulled infield a bit, giving him too much room there.
Butragueño. When we think of Liverpool's qualities, and Barnes has now strayed infield to get into the game. He enjoys playing in a central role up front. He had more opportunities in his Watford days to do that than he's had at Anfield. But maybe that's one way for Liverpool to produce a little bit of extra thrust in their time of need here, to allow Barnes to stray. And of course, to allow him to be involved in the free kicks as well. Whelan is loitering with some intent. Only Rush in the penalty area for Liverpool, ahead of Buyo. Whelan clips it in, looking for Hussein. It's going to be a retaken free kick.
Liverpool are looking for Hussein to come round the back there, you know, and maybe get to the back post, but I think Real are aware of that now.
Well, it's not a great angle for Barnes. He plays it into Mulby.
Rush was offside.
Well, Ian Rush, who hasn't been amongst the goals early season, was, yes, just offside there. And I think there's a feeling that if John Aldridge does go, Ian, that maybe that will take some of the pressure off Ian Rush, who's had to live with the fact that Aldridge has been so successful in the last couple of seasons with Liverpool.
Well, I think every week is speculation who will play, and that will be ended.
Sanchez has missed some of the other pre-season games with an injury. Michel trying to play him away down that right-hand side again, and with the John Toshak sweeper system, does allow the fullbacks to push on. It's Sanchez down the right, Gordillo down the left. Here's Sanchez. Barnes. Nicol, and he was taken rather brutally then by Ruggieri, who gets the yellow card. And as I was saying earlier, he really doesn't stand on any ceremony. He's come back from a tournament in South America where he played for Argentina and got a couple of red cards. And that was late.
That was late, and we were told about this fellow before the game that he is a bit a nasty piece of work, and he's had 2 or 3 fouls, and quite rightly the referee said, okay, we've had enough of that. There's a yellow card for you, and he's on his last warning.
No damage done to Nicol. So it's Hierro picking up rush at the moment. Again, Liverpool looking for Hussein. It's never really been their way just to hump high balls in for tall defenders. They tend to try and draw opponents out by playing shorter free kicks.
The last time they did that, John Toshak was playing with Kevin Keegan.
John Toshak, who spanned the era at Liverpool, the end of the Ian St John era, and he moved through the 70s to the start of the Kenny Dalglish era.
In fact, I think he played about 3 or 4 games with Kenny, didn't he? In that transitional period.
Yes, it was early in the 77-78 season. And a few games with you, Ian.
Yes, he did. I learnt him all he knows.
Butragueño. Michel. Hugo Sanchez and Godillo waiting in the centre. If Michel can get the better of David Burrows, which he can't. In fact, John Toshak was a little concerned how the Real players would react to his appointment, because when Toshak was coach at Real Sociedad, he went into print a few times criticising the Real Madrid players for their attitude and sometimes their lack of commitment, their histrionics. But he said he's had no trouble from them in the month or so that he's actually been here in Madrid in charge of the team. They've kept their own counsel, and they're showing on the field that they certainly have nothing against the new boss. It's often a matter of politics and personality here in Spain. Confirming the 2-0 lead that Real Madrid have. A bad 3-minute spell for Liverpool. Sanchez. Must have been a double ricochet of Ronnie Whelan at the end, because it is a corner. Manuel Sanchez, whose father played for Real Madrid in the 60s and was in the last European Cup winning side that Real Madrid had in '66. Michel with a deep corner. Hussein didn't clear it with any great authority. Gordillo plants it back. He came off Steve Nicol. Brovelar is there, not decisively, but he was fouled by Ruggieri. Well, Steve Nicol could only loop it up in the air. Ruggieri was waving the left elbow into the chest of Grobbelaar. Actually, we can't tell you on the air how John Toshak described Ruggieri, but I suppose a mean so-and-so would be a broadcastable translation. He's pleased to have him in the ranks.
Well, I suppose he wouldn't like to play against him, that's for sure.
Here's Burrows. When we were told the Liverpool side, it just looked as though maybe Kenny Dalglish wanted to give 1 or 2 of his squad players a game. It's difficult circumstances, really, in which to pick a side on that basis. We may be doing him a disservice. Certainly in the case of Hansen, there is justification for not playing him in every game. will be more important assignments ahead for him domestically. That was a strange one from Martin Vasquez. It almost reached Hugo Sanchez. Oh, and there was Ian Rush tangling off the ball, and he pushed Martin Vasquez in the face after a rather untidy challenge by the Real Madrid midfielder. And the temperature of the game has risen. With 13 minutes to go to half-time, the referee didn't seem to recognise much of what was going on then.
It's actually getting a little bit tough now. There's boots flying everywhere and elbows. Burrows and Michel had a little word with each other there.
And then I think David Burrows had a word with himself about a misplaced pass that annoyed him. In those 6 goals that Everton conceded, there were 2 from Butragueño, 2 from Hugo Sanchez, so the problems here for Liverpool have hardly come from an unexpected quarter. Real Madrid very pleased with the way Butragueño has been playing in their other pre-season games. He has had something of a checkered 1989. He was left out of the side earlier in the year. Nickel. Well, it's just rushed forward, but he's a lot quicker than Schuster if he can get in a position to take him on. McMahon. Rush. The Liverpool cavalry arriving from midfield. Steve Nicol. Schuster in the way. Steve Nicol is the one Liverpool player starting the game who's actually played on this ground before. He played here for Scotland in 1988. As did Gary Gillespie, who's a substitute tonight, and Peter Beardsley had a game here for England. Gary Lineker's game, it's remembered as, when he got all 4 in that 4-2 win over Spain. Beardsley was very much the main helper for Lineker on that occasion. Ten minutes to go to half-time. Mulby. McMahon. Mulby. And Schuster had read the play well again.
Final ball of Liverpool's very poor tonight, Martin, which is unusual for them. But when they're trying to find Ian Rush, they're playing too many high balls to him, you know, knocking the ball up, which is really, he doesn't want that. He wants them played into him, at least chest high. And they have to find a way, you know, around this defensive system of Real.
Yes, there's no way with the sweeper that they can hit the ball over the top of the back line, which Ian Rush used to thrive on in his real Liverpool heyday. But he'll know about this type of defending from his year in Italy. McMahon. Burrows. Rush loping into the centre. Nicol is there on the far side as well. Whelan. Now Venison. Nicol's come out of the area. And John Barnes has got in there.
See, that was a poor ball. As I say, the quality of the crosses and the longer balls haven't been very good.
Well, I'm sure Real Madrid didn't do it deliberately because they were beginning to feel the anxiety of the crowd. But Liverpool were lulled into a full sense of security in that opening quarter of an hour. And we have to say, through an individual error, went a goal down. And then Real Madrid, with the possible suspicion of an offside, played their way superbly for a second goal that makes it very difficult for Liverpool in the position they find themselves in. 2 adrift. Rush. Now, Schuster really should be on the receiving end of a yellow card then, because it was a calculated attempt. He knew he had to stop Rush getting away. and he made sure he didn't get past him. It's a free kick to Liverpool, but the referee, I don't think, really saw the sinister side of that. Schuster is in the record here that he is the slowest member of the Real Madrid staff. He and Rush should be amongst the quickest for Liverpool. Well, Mulby pacing out a run. Deflects off the wall. Hussein. And up and under from Whelan. That's not really the Liverpool way. And Mulby stepped in well against Sanchez. And the referee reaches for the back pocket, and it's a yellow card for Sanchez. The second Real Madrid player to be cautioned. And that was Mulby's tank-like tenacity in the tackle. And Sanchez, in looking to repair the damage, goes into the referee's notebook. The referee's still waiting to get the ball back. Now Liverpool in a position here with 6 minutes to go to half-time where they could change the complexion of this match by halving the deficit. It was the same attempted route to Hussein. Not too much variety so far. Real Madrid getting away with the odd mistake. Michel it was who was a little overconfident on the far side then.
I would think Liverpool have to be thinking about Peter Beardsley coming on in this match, because when you look at the back players of Real, the pace of Beardsley and Rush, you know, might be the way that Liverpool could unlock them.
But I think we feel, Ian, that Schuster won't play the second half because he's suspended from the opening league game here against Sporting Gijón on Sunday, and John Toshak wants to have a look at somebody else in that role. We must wait and see. Mulby. Broken up by Hierro. Michel. On the near side here is Martin Vasquez. Butragueño through the centre. Chendo in that holding role in midfield. Which is another Toshak switch. He's made his name as a fullback. Michel. Now Ruggeri. Gordillo. And Real Madrid can play it at their own tempo. Wait for the moment they feel is right to play a more incisive pass, and Liverpool just backing off. And then Whelan winning it. And Chendo unable to halt Rush. It's Mulby tearing into the centre. It could be Liverpool's best moment here. And Rush had done so well until it came to deciding the right moment to release the pass.
Jan Mulby had made a very good run from midfield to back him up there, and really at the end of the day it was a poor ball from Rush. Looking to find Mulby, but Schuster intercepting.
McMahon. Liverpool pressing and forcing the corner. Chendo had that difficult moment when Rush sped past him away on the far side.
You do feel if Liverpool could supply Rush with some ammunition, his pace will cause him problems, because when he's had the opportunities, he has run away from them.
He's looking lean and hungry. Barnes. Hussein is in the centre, and it's another poor ball in. Schuster. Nonchalantly to Sanchez. have been times since they went 2 in front that Real Madrid have looked as though they're freewheeling a little. Martin Vasquez. Well, a few years ago, maybe, Gordillo, who's 32 now, and was hoping that John Toshak would release him to go back to his hometown club, Real Betis in Seville. But although he might not play every game this season, Gordillo, they want to have him around for his know-how and maybe for his singing in the dressing room. He makes records in the flamenco style.
But what a good servant he's been to this club and his country as well. Very good player.
75 caps. And that's the calibre of man that Liverpool are up against here. And at times, our top players have been involved in something of a learning process. Gordillo, Ablett needs a second header, and Mulvey saw the right direction for it to defuse the situation. And you saw Hugo Sanchez challenging Grobbelaar then. He does it in such a way that he's provoked goalkeepers into getting sent off almost in Spain with regularity. Certainly more than to make it just a coincidence, and we did warn Bruce Grobbelaar about that at the team hotel last night. Bruce, as you'd expect from a former jungle fighter, wasn't too worried. Well played, Ian Rush, who got back and won it fairly, although the crowd didn't think so.
Liverpool have switched Barnes to the right-hand side and Nicol to the left. Obviously feeling, you know, they had to shake the pack a little bit.
Michel, it was a clever little ball forward towards the run of Michel by Martin Vasquez. Burrows. Ian, we're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. You're summing up of Liverpool's 45 minutes in the Bernabeu Stadium.
Well, I feel they started off in confident style, and for 15 minutes, Real looked as if they were the team with the problems. But I'll have to say that Bruce's error of judgment in coming out for that ball allowed Sanchez to score, and that then put a different complexion in the game. And Butragueño's skill got in the second one. Although I do feel he was slightly offside, but since then, Liverpool have created one or two half chances, but still don't look too comfortable on the night. And I think they'll have to change the team in the second half and probably bring on Beardsley.
So there is the half-time whistle. It's just Liverpool by 2-0. Real have made a substitution during the half-time interval. They brought on Julio Llorente, who's wearing number 12, and it's Ruggieri, the centre-back, who's stayed off, possibly because he got a yellow card in the first half, more likely because he's been suffering with a virus recently and has lost a little bit of weight, and only played the first half here because he passed a fitness test this morning. Liverpool unchanged so far, but all the substitutes, with the exception of Alan Hansen, going through some warm-up routines down on the near touchline. That's Peter Beardsley, Gary Gillespie and John Aldridge. And they're watching now, stopping their exertions to just see what happens at this free kick, which is taken by Barnes, and Hierro concedes the corner.
Buyo certainly wasn't going to come for that one, Martin, and it was only, what, 4 yards out when Big Hierro managed to head over the bar.
Nicol with a short corner this time to Barnes. Benison whipping the ball in, and it was a great run in by Ronnie Whelan, who deserved to get something from it, actually. Timed it Well, 99% right, but the 1% was crucial. But again, John Toshak has encouraged him to drop deeper and get into the play. Hugo Sanchez always well forward. Chendo. Hierro. Liverpool might just prey on Real Madrid nerves if they could get an early goal in the second half. The players here not 100% sure of the support from their demanding fans. And they might show some discontent if Liverpool can just up their player gear. What they mustn't do, of course, is go a third goal behind. Julio Llorente, who is the younger of two brothers in the Real Madrid squad, and a nephew of the great Hento, who's now a scout here, and John Toshak saying what a thrill it was to have Hento working for him. And like all youngsters really of the John Toshak generation, when they were boys, if they played well in the park, they said we played like Real Madrid today. And now a boy from Cardiff is now in charge of this famous club. Sanchez has switched because of the half-time change. Rush. Molby Barnes saw some possibilities away on the left-hand side then, but by McMahon's standards, that was a poor ball. Butragueño. Gordillo. Just able to ease it back to Butragueño, who's operating from midfield at the moment. Schuster with everything in front of him, and a penetrating pass for all that. Martin Vasquez. And David Burrows really stuck to his guns there. Had a difficult time for Liverpool. Now he wants to clip it forward and finds Nicol. Rush. Hugo Sanchez almost picked it off. Now Nicol had gone offside. Michel. Oh, and Schuster with one that perhaps reflected some overconfidence from Real Madrid. Played across the line of defenders, rather too close to Rush for Real Madrid's comfort. Martin Vasquez, a lovely change of direction. Butragueño sprinted through the centre. Martin Vasquez is famed for his long-range shooting here. And Grobbelaar was less than convincing again. Butragueño this time was the decoy. Grobbelaar had it and lost it worryingly towards the goal. Schuster. Oh, and Rush with something to feed on again. And Ian Rush has got his free kick, but he wanted more than that. He wanted retribution for the foul on Chendo from the referee's viewpoint, with the showing of a card. But Ian Rush getting fired up, and that might help Liverpool as they look to make an impression, not just on this match, but on a watching European audience, and beyond that as well. The game going live to Mexico because of the Hugo Sanchez involvement, of course. David Burrows fouled by Michel, and the tough little left-back staying down and needing Roy Evans running on. Ian, you played here for Scotland. How much does it mean to visiting players to come out in a setting like this?
Well, it's a marvellous stadium, and you know, to come out here, it's a real football stadium because the fans are so close to the playing area, and it goes right up above you, and it's a marvellous ball to play in.
Doesn't look quite so marvellous from the outside, it must be said. Here's Hussein, he got to this one, Jan Molby is there. And Buyo had to guard that near post. Well, been enough balls played in so far by Liverpool towards the Swedish international for him to finally get to one. And that was not directed at goal, but across to Molby. Barnes takes the corner, Hussein comes in again, and Buyo, who's known as a reflex goalkeeper on his line of high calibre, and also a man of rather unstable temperament as well, came out with great judgment then and made a fine catch.
I'm just going to say he's not the tallest goalkeeper I've seen, so maybe Liverpool feel that some testing balls in the area might just catch him out.
Schuster with a testing ball forward, or is it? Ablett seems to have it covered. Rush. Here's Schuster. Real Madrid are going to make a second substitution. They're going to introduce Solana when the play stops, but here is Barnes. And it deflected off the body of Hierro. One substitute already on is Julio Llorente. And it's Michel who goes rather reluctantly, and the crowd around our commentary position were calling Pachendo to be taken off. Well, that's not the first time we've seen Michel replaced. Maybe on this occasion it's just a precaution with the opening league game coming up on Sunday. Coming up for the corner there was Hussein. Hugo Sanchez chasing the long clearance from Buyo. Well, a free kick was given and it was taken quickly while Liverpool possibly weren't at full concentration. Hussein heads out, Martin Vasquez. And he was bumped by Molby. And this is threatening for Liverpool at a time when a third goal could end their hopes of taking the trophy back to Anfield. And Schuster is very much a set-piece specialist. So too is Hugo Sanchez. "13 minutes into the second half. It's Hugo Sanchez, blocked by McMahon. Back from Martin Vasquez. Hierro. McMahon trying to play his way out of trouble, but the ball actually struck the referee. Martin Vasquez again. Turning Mulby. Well, he first came to the limelight as a star of the under-21 side for Spain, but has perhaps had to play second fiddle at times to the likes of Michel and Butragueño, but he looks their equal, Ian.
He's having a very good game tonight, yes, and I was just thinking it was a good job Gary Ablett didn't get a touch on that one, because I think I might have deflected past Big Bruce.
Hugo Sanchez showing he can tackle and screen the ball, but not to the liking of the referee. He can be explosive in his reaction when decisions go against him, Hugo Sanchez. But he was relatively controlled then. And it's Ronnie Whelan for Liverpool. Burrows. Steve Nicholls got into the centre. Rush is there as well, and John Barnes. Venison trying to rescue it from going behind unsuccessfully. Well, this game still has some fine margins to it. At 2-0, Real Madrid capable of entering maybe a cruising mode and losing some concentration. Close with the free kick a minute or two ago to a position where they might have killed the game off totally, and then looking a little vulnerable as Ronnie Whelan got a cross in for Barnes.
And I think Liverpool will be bringing some fresh legs on. I see the substitutes are tying the socks up, so I think that might just give them a little lift too.
Would you bring on John Aldridge, knowing that you might be selling him in a couple of hours' time?
Well, yes, I would if I thought that bringing him on would win the game for me. I mean, you have to just take the game on its merit, Martin, I think, and if you want to win this match, or at least come out of it with something, you have to change the team at the moment, because the 11 that are out there don't look to me as if they're going to be the ones to do it.
Here's McMahon driving on. Chendo initially blocking the path for a pass, but McMahon did very well indeed. Whelan has taken it early and it didn't dip quite enough. But Steve McMahon and Ronnie Whelan, again the powerhouse men in midfield, and combining this time to give Puyo something of a worrying moment. Well, we are going to see a double change for Liverpool. Gary Ablett comes off for Gary Gillespie. Steve McMahon comes off for John Aldridge. So is this going to be the last time we'll see Aldridge in Liverpool red? Just to remind you, he's scheduled to meet officials from Real Sociedad, the Spanish club, who are at the match. We'll go to the team headquarters after it with a view to a possible £1 million move for Aldridge, but he's straight away taken up a position that threatened extra danger, although the header was the act of a man who's not really in tune with the game yet, and that was understandable. Julio Llorente, Hugo Sanchez. Well, Grobbelaar grinned in appreciation, and I think in a little bit of relief as well.
But a quality move. I mean, an excellent ball played, first of all, by Butragueño. A good ball, and then Sanchez arriving at the near post. That's the sort of stuff you practice at training with no opposition. But there you are, almost worked against Liverpool.
And we talked of Hento, and you think of Di Stefano and Puskas and the great names of the 50s and 60s here, but it is a long time since they won the European Cup, and maybe we're all taken in by their past glories.
Well, I suppose on the home front, you know, they keep winning the league here, so as far as Spain is concerned, they're a Premier club. But in Europe, yes, they haven't won it since way back, 66, yes. I saw the game at Hampden Park, a very famous game. I was there.
You and about 5 million others, Ian.
Well, I mean, that was one of the outstanding European Cup finals of all time, wasn't it?
7-3. Eintracht Frankfurt, 1960. Oh, and it's football maybe of that calibre that we're seeing here in this Real Madrid break. Paco Llorente for Hugo Sanchez. Well played by Grubler. A thrilling switch of the play from one end of the field to the other. In truth and in defence of Liverpool's cause, they've got to push on, and they were caught with men upfield. Grubler to the rescue that time. Gillespie this time. Venison. Nickel. Infield is Aldridge. And Hierro, the new boy from Valladolid, certainly winning over the Real Madrid supporters with what he's done in this game.
He's certainly impressed me, the big number 5. He's looked a very good player, good strong defender that can play a bit as well.
It's another of those incisive thrusts. Such a thoughtful player, Butragueño. Robillard loves coming off his line, and so too does Bouillon. Two goalkeepers and two real characters here.
Oh, they're both characters, all right. I thought Ian Rush was just going to tip him to that ball. That would have been interesting.
And it really would have shaken the game up for the latter stages. And John Toshak was pressing on his players that you do not ease up against Liverpool.
Yes, he was saying last night, you know, how important it was, obviously, for him to get a result in this match. But he was telling his players about Liverpool, and, you know, you just can't lose your concentration for a minute. And they will be geared up for that.
Martin Vasquez. Oh, and Paco Llorente, who likes to push up on the last defender because he is so quick. I was talking earlier in the commentary about Schuster being the slowest man on the staff. They've clocked Paco Llorente as the quickest. That's in terms of physical speed, of course. Brain power does play a part. And Schuster's very quick in that respect. Mulby, Rush, Aldridge, and maybe another reason for thinking that John Aldridge might be leaving is I don't think Kenny Dalglish has ever really believed in Rush and Aldridge playing together. Although they've had a number of games.
Yes, they've had a number of games together, and they have played on winning teams together and scored goals. But I think if Aldridge does go, then it relieves that problem in everybody's mind, especially in Rush's, and he can go on with the job of playing centre forward.
Do that for Real Madrid is Paco Llorente. Godillo, not this time.
In the last 5 minutes or so, Real have been playing some testing little through balls and catching Liverpool square, and they've just overhit them a few times. And of course, Grobler made that very good save when he came out on Sanchez. But you know, I think Liverpool have got to look at that back four at the moment and say, you know, we're getting caught a little bit, lads.
Oh, and well, Hierro obviously believing he was playing well to try that. It's an attempted back pass where there was no room really at all to get the ball up and over Aldridge. And it bounced kindly for him, as it tends to do when you're winning 2-0. And Hussein has a different partner now, with Gary Ablett having gone off. It's Gary Gillespie. He has been playing there, of course, with Alan Hansen.
So that's an important point, Martin, isn't it? You know, that a new player coming to the club and having 3 or 4 different partners playing alongside him.
Gillespie's drawn out of the centre now by the pace of Paco Llorente, and Hussein was tested by the cross. It was one of those nasty situations when the back man is stretching towards his own goal, and anything that's not too sure in the contact could possibly have flown in past Grobillard. Martin Vasquez to take the corner. And it was a whipped ball in. Hussein's very good in the air. And he needed to be then. England will be thinking of a way to try and bypass him in Stockholm in a week's time. It was Ronnie Whelan that time for Liverpool. Gordillo. This is Solana. We've 15 minutes left. 2-0, still Real Madrid's lead. Schuster, what a pass! Hugo Sanchez, what a move! And at the end of it, what a save! Talk about direct football, Ian.
Well, Bruce certainly made up for that error in the first half, because that was a superb save. Caught beautifully on the volley by Sanchez, and Bruce got to his left. Magnificent save.
Here comes the corner. As we look again at Grobbelaar's athleticism, and I wonder whether it was the reputation of Hugo Sanchez as a volleyer that made Bruce come for the one in the first half that cost the goal. But what a technician Hugo Sanchez is. In a training routine yesterday morning, he was shooting at goal and beating the goalkeeper some 90% of the time. He's something special. And his record shows that. And no wonder Mexican television is tuned into every game he plays over here.
This is the first time I've seen Hugo Sanchez live. You know, I've obviously watched him a lot on television. I've been very impressed with him. I think he's a super all-round player, you know, not just a goal scorer, but he can play as well. He runs around the field, he grafts, he's got a lovely first touch. And, of course, he's finishing in his volley and is magnificent.
The player who supplied him with that latest chance is hurt here, Bernd Schuster, by an angular Ian Rush elbow. There's nothing soft about Ian Rush, I wouldn't think.
His Teutonic nose got quite a bang there, I should think, from Russia.
It's the long passes. That's an impressive ratio then. Well, that's Bruce Grobbelaar we've seen tonight. A goalkeeper who backs his judgment wholeheartedly, and occasionally it doesn't come off for him. That was certainly the case in the first goal. But I've always felt sad that because he played for Zimbabwe, he couldn't qualify to play for England. I'm sure he would have pushed Peter Shilton all the way over the time he spent in England if he had been eligible. And you draw a parallel with the cricketers. We're trying to get Graham Hick qualified to play for England from Zimbabwe, and we can do that. But, it's a different game and it's different regulations. Maybe we need Hick more than we need Bruce.
Yeah. Maybe Bruce could get a game in the cricket team.
And now it's just been a little spell here that's got the crowd antagonised. David Burrows is given the yellow card. He claimed he went for the ball. But that was knee-high on Julio Llorente. 11 minutes left. And it's going to be time for Peter Beardsley to make a brief appearance. Chendo. Schuster, by the way, okay again from that damaged nose. Well, John Toshak hasn't revealed to Spanish scouts who will be playing as his sweeper on Sunday against Sporting Gijón when Schuster is suspended. Gordillo. Broken up by Hussein. Had to be a short pass because there was no one forward for Liverpool where they could have been found, and Butragueño, as Real won it back. Peter Beardsley had a close view of that. I suppose if we've got a player in the British game who's of similar style to Butragueño, it is Beardsley. Well, the home supporters wanting a little bit extra over the final stages here. Maybe it'll come no from Liverpool with Steve Nicol. Venison. Barnes has been kept pretty much under a tight rein by Real Madrid. Wherever he's wandered on the field. Saying it was a fairly ambitious pass. Mulby will get to the second ball. Not for long. Hussein to Rush. Now Nicol. Oh, and that fell, unluckily for Liverpool, between Aldridge and Hussein. It was a ball in that had some promise to it. Real Madrid haven't been beaten at home here since this trophy was, as Venison comes off and Beardsley comes on, since this trophy was competed for a year ago when they were beaten by Milan by 3-0. What a prophetic victory that turned out to be. Liverpool have worked harder, it seemed, in the second half. And now Beardsley adds a little bit more variety. I'm sure Bobby Robson will be quite happy that he's just playing a small part in this game. Beardsley, as I said earlier, who did play on this ground for England against Spain when Gary Lineker got all 4 goals. Here's Paco Llorente. Hugo Sanchez is the only Real Madrid player up with him. Is it going to be a solo run? It's played for Butragueño. Well, he seemed just as casual then as he did when he scored in the first half, and the difference that time was that there was no end product, and Aldridge, who was stopped in a cynical way, is not best pleased.
Schuster's pace really does get shown up when he gets caught one-on-one. I mean, he's had an excellent game when he's had the ball and his interceptions have been good, but when he gets caught in that one-on-one situation, you know, they really can't go past him.
And it was Aldridge who got his head to the free kick that he himself had won. Buyo just taking a bit of time here, allowing Real Madrid to recover their shape and a little bit of composure as well. "33 seasons of European club football out of the 34 that they've been. That says so much. Rich traditions at the club. They've averaged 3 goals a game here in those major European tournaments, but they're still looking for a third in this. I was going to say competition, it's just a one-off final between these two famous clubs. Burrows. And it's the goalkeepers. And Buyo prepared to make something of a meal of that, as Rush really did no more than brush into his back. Hasn't been very popular here, Buyo, in the past. He's antagonised most sets of opposing fans. Indeed, has been sent off. Lost his place for a while last season. has said he's calmed down. We shall see. 5 minutes left. Hugo Sanchez not settling for just 2-0. Well, that's a bad ball from the Mexican. Beardsley, not superstitious, wearing that number. Mulby. Liverpool have been in the game in the second half without threatening a goal, and Hussein does to Paco Llorente what Schuster did to Aldridge a moment or two ago, but Schuster got away with it, and Hussein has a yellow card against his name. John Toshak, who is very fond of going to the touchline, is there again making a point to one of his players, Paco Llorente. It's been a good night for the new Real Madrid coach. Maybe more to come. Martin Vasquez.
I was saying to John when he was giving us a team before, when he was writing the team down, I said, you must be very proud to be writing these names down. He said, yes, I am. And when you think about, you know, all the international players he's got, you know, the quality within the ranks, it's a marvellous thing for him to be here.
Yet. Well, one player they haven't reined in is Martin Vasquez. Butragueño is offside. They stand up all around us, baying their protests at the decision, which looked a pretty good one. No protest from Butragueño. But without dominating that opening 15 minutes, they kept the ball and frustrated Real Madrid. But from then on, it's been rather downhill for Liverpool once the goals went in. And individual mistakes can turn matches, and we have to point up again the one from Bruce Grobbelaar that allowed Hierro and his teammates to celebrate scoring first. Chendo is the damaged player. This was
I think it was Jan Mulby coming in. In fact, it was Ronnie Whelan with the foul. No, it was Big Jan.
John Toshak had a full squad stripped and ready for action, but we understand that the rules permit just 3 outfield players as substitutes, and Real Madrid have used their 3, one of whom is on the ball here, Paco Llorente. As the match now draws to its close, with Real Madrid pressing on. And everyone looking to impress Toshak right to the last. Touched on by Aldridge, but the whistle's gone not to end the game, but for a Liverpool free kick. There's never been a spell in where you felt that Liverpool really could score a goal to turn it perhaps back their way.
No, not really. They haven't really been incisive. But maybe Beardsley can do it here. But no, but they haven't quite got that final ball going around the edge of the box, which is normally their game, isn't it? Usually in a match you can say they can create half a dozen chances, but tonight they haven't done that.
Well, John Toshak has won his first home game in charge of Real Madrid, and he's done it at the expense of Liverpool, the club he admires so much. The 2 goals in rapid succession in the first half from Hugo Sanchez and from Butragueño, and Sanchez with that wonderful volley from the Schuster pass, foiled by Grobbelaar in the second half. That really was the the great memory of the second period. Liverpool, well, they will have learnt, I'm sure, from a European experience which is denied them in the major competitions by that UEFA ban. But they do set very high standards themselves. And as Ian St John was saying, I think they were a little below their best with a changed side tonight. It's hardly revenge for that European Cup final defeat by Liverpool in 1981. But it is a worthy launching pad for Real Madrid as they look towards their opening league fixture against Sporting Gijón on Sunday. They do regain their own Bernabeu International Trophy, which has now reached its 11th edition. They lost it last year to Milan. The 11th competition, and they're winners for the 6th time. The late Santiago Bernabeu made a huge contribution to the development of Real Madrid as a club of such style, and the prize named in his memory, and its return to the vast trophy collection at this stadium, which also bears his name. Chendo will go up to collect it. There are all sorts of other prizes to be given out as well for the man of the match and other awards. They do enjoy giving out trophies here, which is why they have to have such big trophy museums, really they are. So Ramon Mendoza, the president of Real Madrid, keeps it in the family. And just to remind you, it's Real Madrid 2, Liverpool 0. We'll have some post-match reaction for you